Hey everybody, Eric here with what I believe is my first top 10 list ever. And what I'm doing, if you've read the name of this video, it says something like, because I haven't actually come up with the name yet and put it down, but something like top 10 books that I read in 2020. And the reason it's going to be worded along those lines is because not all of these books came out in 2020. There are a few from 2019. And and these aren't, I'm not saying these are the best books of 2020 or 2019. These are my favorites. And I tried to keep them either from this year or 2019. I didn't go as far back as 2018, although I could have. Just to keep this up to date. I read a lot of older stuff during this year. The Stand. And I reread Pet Cemetery. Although that may have been last year. I don't know when I reread that. Anyway, I think the oldest thing I read was the very first Doc Savage story, Doc Savage, Man of Bronze. So I'm not going to put that on a list like this. It wouldn't have made the list anyway, as much as I enjoy it. These are in no particular order. I have them stacked here to my right. So that's the order we're going to go in. I'm just going to pick them up off the stack. But so these are just my favorite books that I read this year. From this year and a little bit from last year, I guess. So my 10 favorites. And we're starting off with Reception by Kenzie Jennings from Death's Head Press. I reviewed this one, so you can go back and look at the review for this, but it's about a young woman who gets out of rehab to go to her sister's wedding, and terror ensues. I absolutely loved this. I loved the style. I loved the characters. I loved the twists and turns. Just really great. It's the debut novel from Kenzie Jennings. Excuse me. She's definitely one to watch, in my opinion. She has written a book in the Splatter Western series from Death's Head, which I think I've lied to people and said that I have it. And I found out recently that I had not ordered it yet. It's actually on its way right now at the time I'm recording this video. I don't know how I didn't order it as soon as it hit Amazon. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So Reception by Kenzie Jennings. Fantastic book and one of my favorites of 2020. And I'm going to put it over there. So next, again, no particular order, just the way they happen to be stacked here. Next we have Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. This is from Off Limits Press. Another one that I have reviewed, so you can look at that video for more in-depth analysis. This is about a woman who has lost her child, and she believes she has reconnected with her dead child, and the lengths she goes to solidify that connection. This is probably the most emotionally gut-wrenching book that I read this year. It's incredibly powerful. Again, very well written. Love the characters. Love the relationships. And hate the journey that the character goes through. In the best way. It's a gut punch. But Crossroads. Laurel Hightower. Now, I think, just taking a look, I think I have reviewed all of these already. So, I don't know how, you put those links at the end of the video. And you can put a list, or you can put a specific video. Oof. I don't know if I'll link any of these, because then I'll feel bad about the ones that don't get linked. We'll see. All right, next we have Standalone by Paul Michael Anderson. This is from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and it's I'll just read the blurb from Stephen Graham Jones here on the front cover. A metaphysical science fiction slasher that doesn't scrimp on the gore. And that's, it's a meta look at slasher movies. There's a science fiction element to it. Again, great characters. I love how it, for lack of a better term, explains slasher movies. Just another fantastic, fun, interesting, little mind-twisty horror novel. Paul Michael Anderson, another one I'm going to have to watch. I highly recommend it. Do I have to keep saying that? I mean, obviously, if these are my favorite books that I read this year, I'm going to recommend all of them. But let's move on. Next, we have Antioch by Jessica Leonard. This is also from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. And, excuse me, this is about a woman who's kind of obsessed with Amelia Earhart and her disappearance and the conspiracies surrounding Amelia Earhart. And in her small town, there's been a series of murders. The killer has been dubbed Vlad the Impaler. And this young woman, let's see, is her name on the back here? Probably, but Bess. Bess, one day, she has a shortwave radio, and she hears what she thinks might be a message from Amelia Earhart. And she gets involved in this weird mystery and starts looking into the murders. And again, craziness and horror ensue. This one's a real mind bender. I think the ending will be divisive. People are going to... I always hate... I think I said this before, maybe when I reviewed this one or one of the other ones. I hate to say people are either going to love it or hate it, because I think there will be people that fall in the middle. I loved it. Loved the ending. I love the way it's written. This is another debut novel, I believe. It's one of my favorite covers of the year. I absolutely love this beautiful cover. So, Antioch by Jessica Leonard, one of my favorites of 2020. We're just moving along, aren't we? I just want to check something really quick, because I think... not that it's important, but I will point out Reception is one that came out in 2019. The rest of these, I believe, so far have come out in 2020. The reason I thought to check that is because the next book is one that came out in... Nope, I think I'm wrong. Hold on. Let me see. Nope, this is a 2020. And it's Aliens Phalanx by Scott Sigler. And it's from Titan Books. You can see that down there somewhere. This is a really great alien novel, xenomorph novel, because it takes, for me, the most unique. It's the most unique take on the xenomorphs that I've seen. We're on a planet that's at a medieval level of technology. So technology's not a word you'd necessarily use. And they have a xenomorph problem. And I really, really like what they did here. There's, they've made I was going to say sword and sorcery novel out of the aliens, but there is no sorcery. There's no magic or anything, but it is, again, this medieval, think sort of King Arthur and his knights versus the xenomorphs, but even that's not completely accurate. I have not read every alien novel there is, so it's possible there is another one that goes off on a tangent like this, but for me, Scott Sigler, great author, and I love what he did here, and it's such a unique story set in the Aliens universe. I'll set that aside, reach over here. This one's definitely 2020, and I think it's the only hardback that I have in this pile. But it's The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Saga Press, I guess, is who put this out. This is the first Stephen Graham Jones that I've read. I have quite a few of his books now, and I've already read another one that came out this year. But The Only Good Indians, fantastic. It's the author says it's a slasher novel, but it's not like any slasher story I think that you've ever read. 4 friends. It is 4, I think. Let's see. Does it say? Yes. 4 American Indian friends who years ago did some illegal hunting, and now something is taking revenge. And it's amazingly written. It's a deep dive into a culture that I'm not incredibly familiar with. It's not my culture. And it's just great characters, great tension, great imagery. Just an all-around fantastic book. The Only Good Indians, Stephen Graham Jones. I'm definitely picking up everything I can by him. As I said, I have 3 others at the moment, and I know there's quite a bit more out there that I'm just gonna get my hands on as soon as I can and read. But this one, fantastic. The Only Good Indians. And then we move on to something a little different, something that surprised me. And this is another one that came out this year. Okay. This is The Roo by Alan Baxter. And I don't know who put this out. It's got this weird logo. And when I reviewed this, I asked people to tell me if they could tell what the hell that's supposed to be. I still don't know. But so The Roo came about because of a Twitter thread, I believe. There was an article about a big old kangaroo messing around in an Australian town, and on Twitter people started talking about writing a story, turning it into a book, and then let me see, the information I want must be here. Maybe? All right, well, now I don't recall, but somebody made this fake cover. Oh, I know where to find the information. I know you'll be very happy to just watch me sit here and read from the book. Yes, Keelan Patrick Burke made up this fake zebra, I don't know if you can see that. It's supposed to be like an old 80s zebra horror paperback cover. And then Alan Baxter was like, if you let me use that cover, I will write the book. And so here we have it. It was done. And I was excited about this. I love animals killing people stories. But I had never read anything by Alan Baxter before. And it's more than just an animals killing people story. I think there's a greater depth to it. The characters, this kind of story, I think it can still be well written and entertaining, but you can do it without really building the characters. That's the way it can be done and still be entertaining. But Alan Baxter builds the characters. He gives them depth, and there's backstory, and it's crazy, and it's bloody, and it's violent. I mean, it's a killer kangaroo terrorizing a town, and some of the characters are just cannon fodder, but our main characters, again, have depth. So I was really surprised at how much I liked this, how well done it was. And again, not because I hadn't read Alan Baxter, so I wasn't like, I can't believe this guy wrote something so good. Just the idea of it, the story behind it, he really turned it into something. I love it, and I'm definitely reading more Alan Baxter. He actually has a book of collection of novellas, I think, called The Gulp. I want to say that's what it is, that I have to pick up. All right, let's move on. And the next book we have is We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. This is our third one, I believe, from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. This is the first book I've read by Max Booth III. Much like Stephen Graham Jones, I have a number of Max Booth's books, and because I read this and absolutely loved it. It's a family in Texas. There's a tornado warning. They go into their bathroom to wait out the tornado, and they get trapped in the bathroom. And then the story is just, for the most part, them trying to survive stuck inside this bathroom. And, as time goes by and no one's coming by and getting them out, and what are they going to eat? How are they going to survive? Are they going to survive each other? There are some flashbacky type scenes to some things that happened before the storm that affect things. I won't go into that because it's a must read. We Need to Do Something, Max Booth III. It has been made into a movie. I can't wait. I believe they've, again, as of this recording, I believe they've finished post-production, and they're looking for distribution at the moment. I think. I don't know. I'm not involved in the project. I just know what I read on Twitter. But I absolutely look forward to seeing this movie because I loved the book. And Max Booth III wrote the screenplay for the movie and is I think an executive producer or something. But yeah, We Need to Do Something. Great book. I'm already, just right off of this, a huge fan of Max Booth III and his podcasts and stuff. And he's the publisher, the co-owner of Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. All right, next. All right, so these last two are from 2019. But I know at least this one I think is from late 2019. Not sure. This is The Ninja Daughter by Tori Eldridge. Enunciate that D. This is from the back cover, a riveting, action-packed thriller that introduces an unforgettable new hero in modern-day ninja Lily Wong. So, again, every single one of these I've reviewed. And I love mysteries. I love private detective stories. If you watch my videos, if you watch my Reading Remembrances videos especially, I'm a huge fan of Robert B. Parker, the Spencer character. Robert Crace has Elvis Cole. I dig, the old Gumshoes, Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe. I love Sherlock Holmes, and I love crime stories, and Andrew Vax and the Burke books. So I'm always looking for new characters, a new series that's going to give me that same feeling that I get, the same kind of story. And Tori Eldridge has done it with her Lily Wong debut, The Ninja Daughter. I love the character. I love the story. I got the same feeling that I got reading Robert B. Parker and Robert Crace, and I was reminded of Andrew Vax's Burke books because Lily Wong deals with abused women and children, essentially. She's not a private detective. She mainly, I think, gets her work from a shelter, a woman's shelter, But anyway, it's it's thrilling. It's action packed. The characters are fantastic. Lily Wong, great character. Her father is Norwegian. Her mother is Chinese. They're both fantastic characters. I love the relationship that Lily has with both of those characters. And she has a different relationship with her father and with her mother. And it's just so well written, fast paced, fantastic book. I have the sequel or the next in the series. I have not read it yet, but this is absolutely one of the favorite books I read in 2020. And finally, we have another one that came out last year, but I read it this year. And this is Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6, the official novelization by Jonathan Rab. I think I learned how to pronounce it for my review, but now I've forgotten. All right. Again, with a book like this, great cover, love it. I love the idea of I don't know why I'm air quoting. It's a fake novelization or a novelization of a fake movie. I don't know the best way to put that, but there is no Camp Ghoul Mountain movie series. So it's not an actual novelization of an actual movie. But just that idea, I loved. I used to read a lot of movie novelizations. And so a fake one seemed cool. And it's, about a slasher movie, and it's part 6 in a series of slasher movies. So right off the bat, I love that idea. But then the book goes meta, and it's not just a novelization of the movie, but there are footnotes that feel like director's commentary or creator's commentary. So as you're reading the novelization, you'll have a little asterisk or a little number, and you look down at the bottom and it'll talk about maybe the composition of the score or something that the director did or the cinematographer did. So I love that we've added this sort of, again, commentary track to the book. But then, in between chapters of the novelization, we have what would be on a Blu-ray the behind-the-scenes featurette kind of thing, and we learn how Jonathan Rab came to write this novelization, and we learn a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff about how the movie got made, and there's a lot of stuff about the earlier Camp Ghoul Mountain movies and the things that the director of this one did that made it so different than the previous 5. And there's just all this really cool stuff that's packed into this book, and it's mind-bending. It would be a crazy movie to see if Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6 was an actual movie. I would love to see it. And so the movie itself is crazy and not quite a typical slasher, but then you add in all this meta stuff, and the book itself just is as I said, it's mind-bending. I don't know how else to put it, and it has a wonderful cover, one of my favorite covers of the year. So there you have it. That's the 10th book on this list, Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6, the official novelization, Jonathan Rab. And there you go. Those are my 10 favorite books that I read in 2020 in no particular order. This video would probably be coming out a month later than it is if I had to decide the order that I was going to put these books in, 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, depending on which way you do your videos. So I'm just going to stick with this, just my 10 favorites, no particular order. I'm not going to, can you pick your favorite child? Well, probably, but I'm not going to. All right, that's it for this. Do you want to see more top 10 videos? I do get some requests on occasion for author spotlights and things like that, and I'm working on those, trying to make some decisions on what I'm gonna do. And I think I'm gonna make just a video with some questions for viewers to see what you think about some things. But anyway, that's for another time. This is a top 10 video. And all right, so what did you think? Have you read these books? What did you think of them? What are your favorite books that you read this year? If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Oh, this isn't the Low Budget Review Show. We try to be polite here on my YouTube channel. How's that? Please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to follow me on social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram is EricSmith5757. That is ERIKSMITH 5757. Feel free to follow me there. I guess that's it. All right. I got nothing else. So I'm Eric Smith. That was my top 10. Until next time, read more books.